Hi everybody, Heidi Easley here with Texas Art and Soul, and thank you so much for signing up for my free webinar called Paint Party Revolution: How to Throw High Quality Paint Parties that Generate Extra Money and Surround You with the Rich Life of Art. So first I just want to say welcome. I'm happy to welcome you to this Paint Party Revolution. The simple strategies kind of to stop spinning your wheels and start making that significant extra income doing paint parties. So my whole goal is to spread the love of art to as many people as possible. I've seen the healing aspects of art, especially over the past few years, and I think it's so important that even the beginner sees the potential in art. So that's why I throw paint parties, and I show others how to throw them. So a quick housekeeping note. Please invest in yourself, okay? So you signed up for this and you have it ready and you're playing the video. So try to just shut off all other distractions. So once you learn it, no one can take this information away from you. So really just be present right now and think about, don't look at your phone, maybe, turn it off or put it in another room and just spend this time learning this information because it's free information and you're doing a great thing by being here. So let's get started. Okay, so you are in the right place if you are an artist, a creative, a maker, a crafter, a teacher, a scrapbooker, a jewelry maker, a sculptor. Maybe you're into wood art like palette art signs. Maybe you're an art therapist or you do things that help other people or elderly people. Basically, you are in the right place if you love art, okay? Anybody who loves the creative process and has the love of showing others this process. So if you're not currently throwing paint parties, you are leaving money on the table. So this training today is to get you out there with confidence to help you get started on paint parties. How can you make yourself different? How can you get out there and show a good first impression with your paint parties? Even if you don't paint, you can use this method to throw parties of other creative things. So for example, maybe you're good at jewelry making, or maybe you're really good at quilting, and I know there's a big craze called crazy quilting. All of these tips I'm giving you today can be used for those as well. So when you have parties that are successful, people start seeing that you're confident, able to not only work at your full-time job, but able to throw in a party or two per month for lots of extra cash. It's really exciting. So let's find out why. Okay, so how many of you have thrown a paint party? So just, raise your hand up. Maybe you're just sitting there with a friend, or if you've thrown a paint party, have you thrown more than one? Have you thrown more than 5? And then I want you to think about, actually write this down. What is the number one reason you want to throw a paint party? And be honest with yourself. Is it for extra money? Is it to share the love of art? I want you to write that down right now. So why is the reason you want to throw a paint party? It's important to know this driving purpose for why we are doing something. If you don't know why you're doing it, you're going to burn out. You're not going to be focused. And I'm going to show you some shortcuts for getting your first party going. You will probably freak out for how much information I'm going to give you today, so stick with me through the whole training. This is all about the strategy and how to create great paint parties and how people will come back again, so you not only have successful paint parties, but you have repeat customers. I'll show you why they come back and give you tips on how to keep your customers, who usually turn into friends after several paint parties. After all, we are having fun. So I know a lot of my customers have turned into some of my really great friends. So I'm going to show you an easy 3-step process to help you get started on painting parties. So I know there are a lot of people out there doing painting parties, but I'm going to show you a method that works in any area. I have a franchise painting party place less than 2 miles from my house, but my method still works because of the way I gain customers. These methods will also save you time, energy, and stress. You'll learn how to avoid some major mistakes I've learned the hard way. You'll also learn subtle and powerful language to help you convert people into painters. So if you're not very good at being organized, don't worry. I'll show you ways to get around that as well. And I have a special free gift if you stay until the very end. So it's just for those who listen all the way through, and you will not want to miss this. All right, so just imagine. How would you feel if you had extra cash every month in addition to doing something you love? What if you could have $1,000 extra per month just by doing 2 paint parties? What if you could actually feel confident with your passion? What if you feel you did what you were called to do? What if you could plan those vacations knowing that it's paid for and it's not charged? So here's a picture of me and my daughter and our cousins in New York City at Christmas time, about 3.5 years ago, over 3 years ago. And I still remember this day like it was yesterday. We were in Central Park, and as you can see, I'm not even wearing a jacket, and I am always cold. I'm the person who sleeps with the heating blanket year-round, even in summer in Texas. Although it is a really good tip for those of you when your husband's hot and you're cold. Oh my gosh, it has saved so many arguments. Anyway, so early December, we were expecting it to be really cold, and it wasn't. And we were expecting it to be really crowded at the skating rink in the middle of Central Park, and it wasn't. And there was this Christmas music playing, and I had paid for my entire trip in cash before I even showed up to New York City. Everything was paid for, along with tickets to see Wicked. My daughter had worked a lot of the parties with me. I had, trained her to help me set up, and I also paid her. So we have, the 6-year-old going to New York City, and she had earned over $200 by then. And not only did she really earn it so she could go to the American Girl store, which is what she was all into. She wanted to buy all this stuff at the American Girl store. So she had earned over $200, and she's almost 10. She can set up a painting party faster than anybody I've hired since then. I don't even have to tell her what to do. She knows exactly what next step. She knows exactly how to put out everything, and she'll just go. And it's so cool to see that, I could teach her that work ethic, but also show her, that we can have these things if we work hard for them. And this memory is one of my favorite memories. I was so happy and so confident, so content, knowing the path that I'm taking is the right one, and what I was doing was in line with what I'm supposed to be doing. So I just love that picture. Okay, so art heals. So let me share a little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's degree in communication from Florida State, and I also specialized in marketing, and I have my minor in psychology. And I have over 10 years of teaching experience with 4 different state certifications, and also the ACSI certification, which is like for Christian schools. So I've taught in public school for, I taught public school 7 years, and then I actually know 9 years public school, and then 2 years in Christian school. I have spent over $10,000 for business programs to help my business, and I did I recently, last year, did a year-long business course, and it was by far the best money I have ever spent on education. Let me tell you, I learned so much. But in 2007, it wasn't always that way. In 2007, we lost everything. My daughter was one year old, and I had spent, on my house that I had owned, I thought, had spent, all this time, me and my husband, he actually built her room, and then I spent, months turning it into this Tinkerbell fantasy. I was in my 20s, I was a mess, I was kind of all over the place. I remember, having a credit card and going to the bank to pay the minimum payment, and it was like $29, and I had to have that minimum payment paid. I paid it on the last day it was due, and then I remember immediately taking that same credit card and going to the gas station and getting like $25 worth of gas, just to get into my tank. And that would be on a Friday, like a payday. I mean, it was bad. I remember we would just, paycheck to paycheck, and we would just have to figure out how we'd make it work. I mean, I remember several times calling the electric company and asking to pay half the bill until a certain date, so they wouldn't cut it off. And then it all really came crashing down. My husband was laid off from his job unexpectedly, and we were really strained, but this just compiled it. So we filed for bankruptcy. For 2 months, I was totally paralyzed in fear. So I want you to think, have you ever been in that place? So have you ever had that feeling, like that pain of uncertainty? And when you get married and you have a baby, you buy your first house, you never think that this is what's going to happen. I mean, it was so out of my thoughts. I was raised to pay everything back. I always was raised to pay back what you owe. And then we found ourselves in this massive hole, and we felt there was no other way to get out. So selling our cars, actually giving the cars to the bank because we didn't technically own anything. I remember feeling so embarrassed when I worked at a school in Florida. And in just 1 year, I went through 3 different cars. The first one, the bank repoed, which I had to go turn in. It was humiliating. Then I got a car from a little dealership that kept breaking down all the time, so I had to give it back. And then eventually I got another car to help me with my new business. So what happened was, after 2 months of being paralyzed, I started to use art to heal. I decided I'd create these little surfboards to paint. We lived near the beach, and I was always into painting surf art at the time. So I sought out some little boards and started painting. And I took them to school one day because I was working, at a school, at elementary school, and I took them to school to work on them during lunch or after school, I don't remember. And I had 850 kids that come through my room every week. That's how big the school was. Well, one day is 150 kids come through my room. Every single kid that saw those little decorative surfboards asked me if I would make one for them. Please, can you put my name on it? Oh my gosh, will you make me this one? And they were freaking out. And I just had this like light bulb moment. I knew God was giving me a sign. And I rushed home and I said to my husband and my mother-in-law, I said, I think I can sell these. And so I remember, taking these little surfboards still wet with polyurethane. Nothing was routed on the edges. It was so messed up. And I remember taking them to the little guy at this place I set up, and I asked him if I could sell them. And I just walked in with like these, they were still lacquered and wet, right? And I just walked in with these little makeshift surfboards I was creating at home. And he's like, yeah, I think you could make some money. So we worked out a deal so I could rent like this little bitty space on the sidewalk. Well, I remember the day we set up, I was so nervous. I had just gone bankrupt. I lost everything. I couldn't take out a loan, for anything. So everything was what cash I was making. So I had invested all this time and all of these resources into this, and even got, my husband and my mother-in-law, my father-in-law all involved. So we set up, and nobody is buying these surfboards. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, this sucks. I can't lose again. I can't fail again. I just felt so desperate. And so my mother-in-law and her friend were like, well, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings and let's have a few drinks. So I'm sitting at the bar, and of course I'm kind of, taking a few shots. I'm just very frustrated, trying to figure out what my next steps would be. Like, oh, this didn't work. What am I going to do now? And so about an hour into it, and after several shots later, my husband calls me, and he was watching my surfboard booth, and he said, Heidi, get over here. We have orders. And I'm like, a little tipsy at the time. I'm like, you're lying. There's no way. And he's like, get over here now. And it was just across the street. So I paid and I left, and I went over, and there were all these orders. Well, needless to say, it was during the daytime that everybody was on the beach, and at night they were there shopping. And so everybody was ordering these surfboards. And I remember walking back to that, looking at those orders, even a little tipsy, trying to paint that night. I remember this confidence I got. And I remember just always knowing I could change my situation for the better. And here's some pictures I'll show you. Here's some pictures of, my little surf booth. Here's the whole family helping with, we sawed all of these ourselves and routed them and primed them and painted them even before they got to the surfboard area for me to paint. And you can see we just rented a little sidewalk. So when there's a will, there's a way. And then here's me and my daughter working late nights. So I would paint all day, and this is me working on designs for them. And then here's me teaching her how to paint. She would always be up there with me, and we'd kind of, have her in different areas, and people would help watch her while I was working. So for basically 2 months, for 12-hour days, only 3 days a week, I painted over 1,000 surfboards. So which means I sold over 1,000 surfboards, and we ended up making over $20,000 just in 2 short months, working 3 12-hour days a week. So I not only learned, the confidence that I could change my situation always, but I also learned to paint fast, which is a skill that will always serve me well. I learned to paint fast. I learned how to break things down. It was like a crash course, and whatever somebody wanted, I would paint them. I remember painting, they were going to ask somebody to marry them. So I ended up painting these footprints on the beach with "Will you marry me?" and just all these fun things that I got to experiment with. And I'm so thankful for that, because I really got to learn like my style and what I love. And it's just something I will always cherish, and always, always be grateful that I lost everything. So those are some pictures of us. So let's find your surfboard story. So here's a few things you may not know. So fast forward, moved back to Texas. I started working at a school, and one day a teacher comes up and asks if I could teach a paint group. Well, I had a picture of me teaching a step-by-step paint group in Florida. So I was like, well, do you mean like this? And I show her a picture of me and 20 people of me teaching. She's like, yes. And so I, immediately showed her and then got set up. Well, have you ever gone to those paint party places and thought, I think I can do this? Well, you can. You can if you use the right strategies. I've made all the mistakes, and I'm using all my mistakes to help others learn. Now, I'm not telling everyone here to quit your job and start doing paint parties like I did. I actually worked full-time teaching, and as I added more and more of these into my schedule, I waited 2 full years of consistent paint parties before quitting my job teaching, just to make sure I wouldn't hurt my family financially. As you know, my story you just heard, we lost everything, and I wasn't going to just quit a really good full-time teaching job unless I knew it could replace my income. So here are some stats about painting parties. It's a growing trend. If you just Google painting parties, you will have over 73 million searches that come up. Painting parties are for any age. They're for any skill level. I have people who, every single party I teach, I have people that have never painted before, even if they're 75. And then I have people who are artists, really great, and they'll go off on their own and do these fabulous artworks. People like to come because everything's provided for them. They don't want a stressful night. They want to come and have fun. And then people are taught the same painting, but they have total freedom on what they want to paint. And people want glitter. I've learned this. So always bring glitter. Make your party stand out. The biggest mistakes that kill the painting party revolution momentum is thinking you need everything to get started. Okay, this is resistance. Fear doesn't go away. You have to do it and take action. You will always be scared at the beginning anytime you try something new. So what if you could make an extra $1,000 a month just doing a few paint parties? That'd be pretty cool, right? Well, Jennifer, she's a client of mine. After a quick phone call with her, she got the courage to start asking her principal if she could do a fundraiser. So she started doing fundraisers at her school, and she's actually been doing paint parties since. And I asked her, I said, tell me what the best part about throwing paint parties is. And here's what she said. She says, the best thing about throwing art parties for me is having people who feel like they are not creative and couldn't draw a straight line create something and have fun doing it. I have had at least 2 people tell me they now paint in their own time, something they never thought they would do. Facilitating the parties is also a confidence boost for myself. It is so much fun to share with others. The best thing about using art in this way is that it makes art common, meaning that many people believe that arts are only for those who are good at it. But these painting classes open new doors of expression and social experiences for people. I feel that I make a difference teaching art. So that makes me so happy because, when I first started teaching paint parties, it was kind of just to make extra money. I didn't really think too much about what kind of impact it would have on people. And until time and time again, I have heard so many people tell me different stories, and I'll go into a couple later. And it's amazing what these can actually open up. So most of my clients come to me with an idea and excitement, but the fear is keeping them from starting their events. The money is on the other side of fear, guys. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just start small. Now, you don't want to do this without a strategy. So here's what I suggest. And I put on here, what is fear? I just want to paint. That little cute boy there, he doesn't know anything about fear. He just wants to come to your party and have a good time. He's not thinking about you up there talking about this and you're terrified. He doesn't know any better and he doesn't care. He just wants to come have fun, and that's what you're offering these people. So here's what I suggest you do. So you can write this down. So make a list of the top people that you think may be interested in a paint party. So for example, retirement centers, country clubs, churches, doctor's offices, gymnasiums. And then write all of that down. So just have a list of the top people you think may be interested. Okay, and also let me introduce you to another client of mine, Julie. Now here's what she has to say about why she loves throwing paint parties so much. She says, extra cash, meeting new people, providing an art experience that is non-threatening and fun, especially for those who have never painted and don't consider themselves artistic. I was kind of against this concept of these paint parties at first, but I've realized that it's not about art instruction. It's about making connections with people, helping them to find that they can do something they've never tried before and feel successful and good about themselves. Okay, so what's stopping you from throwing a paint party? So write this down. So don't worry if it's a hard thing you're saying. Be honest. Why do you think you cannot do it? Just write it down. Are you scared of failure? Are you scared of what people might think? Are you scared that you won't be good enough? Are you scared that people will think, who are you to do this? Remember, everyone is the star of their own play. What I mean by that is they are worried about themselves. I used to be so self-conscious. For example, when I would go to the grocery store, I would be like, okay, am I dressed right? Are people going to look at me? Now that I'm older and had some hard experiences and life experiences under my belt, I realize that it's not about me. I learned the most important thing of all. It's not all about me. People are busy. They're worried about their own groceries. They're worried about what they look like at the grocery store. They could care less what I look like. So once you realize this, life gets way, way easier. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear, let me read it to you. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That is one of my favorite quotes. I actually took that quote and put it on some wood, and I have it in my kitchen, and I've had it for years, and I just love that because it is totally, we're not here to play small, and we're not here to not shine our light and show our talents. So, so you got to let go of that fear and just try. And you'll always have the fear until you start to gain confidence. So here's a picture of me. I'm on stage at a church event for 75 kids. I'm teaching them a holiday painting, and here I am on stage giving instructions. I absolutely love doing this. Like, the bigger the stage, the better for me. Bring it on. Of course, I was scared when I first started. But my goal is to teach 500 people at once in like a giant church or a giant auditorium somewhere. My largest crowd has been over 120, but I know God is slowly leading me to a larger stage. So I am on my way to being ready for that. So remember, even the expert in any field had to start somewhere. I remember the first time I did a painting party, I was so scared. I wrote down every single step. I was so freaked out. I remember my friend even saying, as I was teaching the party, she would say, "Oh, wait a minute," or "Can you go check on that person?" And she was, making sure that I was staying on track. And then I would, pull out my notes and secretly stare at them. And, I acted like I'd never painted before. It was so weird. So maybe you feel like it's not the right time. Well, I'm telling you, this summer, these next several months, is the time to learn. The end of September through December 20th is what I call prime painting time. Then it picks up again at the end of January through May. And use this fear to go for it now. Get a few paintings out of the way. Get your nerves out of the way so you can make really great money in the fall. I'm here telling you, the people that are the most talented are not the most successful. Did you hear that? I'm not the best painter. I will not claim to be the best painter. But the people that are the most talented are not always the most successful. Don't worry about what others think. The money's on the table waiting. So are you going to let another year pass you by and say, "Oh, you wish you would have tried to do what you love"? Once you get over the fear of failing, which I've done too many times to count, you kind of love experimenting on what would happen if you tried this or this. It's kind of like once you realize you can fail and it doesn't kill you and you can still get up, it's kind of like you start thinking, "Oh my gosh, what if I do this?" Or "How about I create this?" People have asked me if I regret all the decisions that led me to bankruptcy when I was in Florida. And I don't. I'm so, so thankful I learned all of those hard lessons in my 20s. Now I have a whole life ahead of me that I can create whatever I want. It took me 2 months to take a horrible situation to start to heal. 2 months, I was down for the count. I was paralyzed in fear, embarrassed. I had shame, emotion, uncertainty, guilt, you name it, I felt it. Then using art to heal took me to a whole new path, and I'm still creating it every day. So obviously, I only have a short time with you today, but I want to show you how to get started. So don't worry if you make mistakes. My first parties were all paintbrushes from my art studio. I had no easels to start with at first. Everybody was painting flat, and I used to tell people, "Well, we don't use easels in my paint party because it's more social because you can see people better." I remember I used to say that all the time because I just didn't have the money to do it. And, going through bankruptcy taught me I don't want to get loans for my business. So I teach how to throw parties for profit from the very first one. So I used my resources. I used the paintbrushes I had. Nobody had matching paintbrushes. And use what you have, grab the craft paint, the cheaper paint until you start building up. So here's step one. So take the list you wrote down earlier, what kind of people you want to teach, whether it's kids, adults, retired people, whatever. Then go through that list and write down what you want to teach. Write down all the places these types of people hang out. Country clubs, retirement centers, schools, churches, Girl Scouts, gymnastics, you name it, etc. So maybe you think you're too old to throw paint parties. Okay, no, that's not true. I interviewed Margaret Keene last year. She's the famous Big Eyes painter. And you are never too old to try something new. And I talked to her and I said, she said she was 87. Last year she was 87. And she was teaching herself the past 3 years how to paint with acrylics. She had always used watercolor and or I think she was using oils, and the oils were messing, like an allergy to her. So she started training herself with acrylic. Well, it just like really hit me. At 84 years old, this lady goes, okay, I'm going to learn a whole new painting method that I haven't used my entire life. And it just made me so, so excited to think about, oh my gosh. And I said, well, what's the greatest thing about still painting at this age? And she said, every day I get to do something new. And so remember, it's your life. What do you want? Age is just a number. Our soul is what's important. And I refuse to go through life making excuses about age. So step 2. Okay, so now that you're going to contact some of these places, here's my tip for this. Keep your email short and sweet, and always ask a question at the end. So your brain, whenever somebody asks you a question, you're automatically already trying to answer it. It's just human nature. It's just what we're already doing. So what I would do is I would send an email. Let's say you find a church place, you send an email to one of the people, maybe it's the children's ministry, and you say, hi, my name is Heidi. I teach step-by-step paintings to large groups. I would love to talk to you about what I offer. Do you have time this week for a quick phone call? I'd put my name, my information, how they can contact me, and then usually a picture of what I offer. Now, you need to keep it short and sweet. Again, the world is not about ourselves. Sometimes we think everything's about us, but it's not. They are busy. They need something they can read quick and then see if they're going to answer or not. Also, as you tell people what you do, I remember this lady, the school I work for now, I work part-time as an art teacher at my daughter's school. She asked what I did, and I was all over the place. I couldn't even answer her. And I remember her just kind of leaving confused, like she had no idea what to do with me. And I remember going, oh my gosh, I got to get that right. And so my trainer last year, she said, you need to have an elevator speech. What can you say to somebody if they were to walk in an elevator? You can tell them what you do and they can leave knowing exactly what you do. So now I say, I teach step-by-step paintings to large groups, kids or women or people, whatever. And so now I can say that in one sentence, basically. So you need to know exactly what you're doing. And then what I would suggest is, you send all these out, then follow up in about a week. So you can call a week later and ask through phone. Remember, it's a numbers game. So if there's there's tons and tons of places to contact, all in your area, if you just look. I'm always on the prowl. Like if I'm shopping or out to lunch with a friend, I'm always secretly noticing where I'm at. Like, is this place large enough to have an art party? I'm always looking and then thinking, how can I, figure out how to work with these people? So this is important. You want to take action and you want to follow up. Once you build a relationship and do a good job, you will be able to repeat the process 2 to 6 times a year. This will grow your business by having referrals and other things that will come your way. So once you have someone interested, you can quickly follow up with painting ideas and ask for a date. Now, once you have a date in the books, you are now on your way to making a party a go. When you're first starting out, you may be okay with parties less than 10. I price my parties depending on the amount of people. So for example, anything under 10 people, I charge $45 a person. From 10 to 14 people, I charge $40 a person. And from 15 or more, I charge $35 a person. If it's a fundraiser, I'll usually drop my price a little and then they can get more towards their fundraiser. So when I first started out, I was charging $25 a person for adults to paint. I started realizing all the work that was involved. So yes, I love this job and it's awesome. It's amazing and I love doing what I do. And once I'm set up, I feel like it's not even work, but it's still, it's still you managing and preparing. So my prices quickly went up to $35. And the reason I know this is the right price is because when I leave a party, I totally give them all my full attention from start to finish, everything. I know I'm giving them 150%. And I know that it's worth my time because when I leave, I've not only paid my expenses, but I've well paid myself, so that not only I've covered the time I was there teaching, but I also covered all the time I spent prepping and getting things ready. So it's not just, oh, you're there for 2.5 hours. There is setup, there's cleanup, there's getting it ready. So when I charge that price, I know it's worth my time, but it also pays me well as well. So I'm ready to go and I'm excited about it. Okay, so I was teaching at a party one night and a lady was there. She was taking pictures of everybody and she wasn't painting. And I remember going up to her and I said, why aren't you painting? Why don't you paint with us? And she said, oh, I just can't. I just can't. And, she's running around the room taking pictures and smiling. And I come back around a second time and I was like, you should really paint. I said, what's wrong? And I kind of like put my arm around her. And she said, oh my gosh, when I was in elementary school, an art teacher, makes me so sad. An art teacher said that I was doing something bad and they didn't like how I was doing my art. And so I have never created since. And this lady's like, I think she said 75. She looks a lot younger than 75, but she's around 75 years old. And I said, well, I am so sorry that happened, but you are with me and it will not happen under my watch. I promise you that. I said, please just trust me and let me help you. And so she started painting and by the end of the night, by the end of the 2.5 hours, she was dancing with that paintbrush. I mean, this lady was so happy. And my heart just sunk because it made me so sad to think that this lady had not painted for about 65 years. And she had missed out on 65 years of art. I'm so glad she's going to get back into it now, but it just made my heart hurt. So I just want you to think, do you have regrets about things you wish you would have done and you didn't? Are there things that you wish you would have tried? I'm a person who has big dreams. I remember always wanting to be an elementary art teacher since I was 14. I remember after my 6th year of teaching, after, one day I had taught the 36th lesson on paper mache because, I'd have 36 classes come through my room in a week. And I was about to lose my mind. I was overwhelmed, overworked, tired, about to go stand out in traffic for the end of the day. A lot of times they have the specials teachers do traffic and, stuff like that. And it was freezing cold rain. And I remember I sat in the back of my class and thought, I'm supposed to do something more. I'm supposed to do more. And I kind of felt guilty for that thought. And then I had this pin in my stomach and I remember thinking, this is my dream. I have my dream job. I have my dream art room. I have my dream district. My daughter's in a great, great school district. Like, why do I have this feeling to do more? And I just had this guilt about it. And then it came to me that, I feel like God doesn't allow us to dream bigger until we have reached our current dreams, our current goals. So you can do a couple of things. Here's your choices. You can do nothing. You can leave all the money on the table because you are not starting painting parties. How much money do you think you're leaving on the table? So write that down. Write that down in your notes. How much money a month do you think you're leaving on the table? If you're doing $35 a person, you're teaching adults. If it's kids, I charge $20 a person. Let's say you're doing $35 a person and you're teaching 2 parties of 10 people. So how much money is that you're leaving each month? Okay, so you can do nothing, or you can use this method and continue to try to put all the pieces together on your own. It will be slower. You'll risk valuable time. You'll make mistakes, just like I did. Or you can allow me to take your hand and help guide you. I can help you with this time-tested and proven system. You can join the ranks of being an entrepreneur and learn proven methods that will help you fast-track your success. So what I've done is I created an online training experience where I walk you through step-by-step how to create painting parties that I personally use today and with my clients that gets you results fast, where you make a profit from the very first party. I teach you how to go from getting your very first party, how to set up, competitively buy supplies to keep you profitable, how to represent yourself and your brand, target your audience, advertise, create marketing materials, show others the expert you are, tips on social media, and the whole module just devoted to the healing aspects of art. It's called, are you ready? The Paint Party Revolution Virtual Bootcamp. I am so excited to share this with y'all. So let's make sure it's right for you, because it's not right for everybody. Okay, so several years ago, one of my fellow art teachers decided to try painting parties for the very first time. So she came to me with a ton of questions, and I helped mentor her with painting parties, and in exchange, she taught me some awesome face painting skills. And I remember I painted, me and her, as she was teaching me, we painted my entire daughter from head to toe, all down her legs, her arms. It looked like she had just gone to tattoo parlor. So anyway, and what she did was, with the knowledge I had given her, she turned her garage into a painting studio. It's so cute. She still works out of it today. She has all her paintings on the wall, everything that she creates and offers, and everything's set up like an art studio, and kids come all year long to paint with her. She actually quit teaching full-time and now does paint parties and photography as her job. So I want to show you a few things. Here is my exact system for throwing paint parties consistently with the Paint Party Revolution Virtual Bootcamp. So what you will get in the Paint Party Revolution Virtual Bootcamp, you will get 8 modules packed full of information that you can access immediately. So in Module 1, you will learn how to identify your customers and who to contact. You will discover my simple and direct way to approach and get clients. I will also show you how to start painting parties without a studio full of paintings. You can book a party before you have even painted an example. So many people think that they have to have the perfect website, 100 paintings already ready and painted up so they can be ready to be sold as parties. That is not true. Again, that's fear and resistance stopping you. You will get examples of my exact emails, exact wording that I use when I'm on the phone and through handouts. In Module 2, you'll learn how to create buzz around your party so that you can get signups, and I will show you easy tricks to get your flyers and advertisements ready to go. You will get my exact scripts and examples of my advertisement strategies. This will show you how to fill your parties quickly. I'm going to show you exact ways to create buzz around your event and keep the events coming. I'll also show you easy ways to advertise for free. Maybe you're not very techy. Well, good news, I can barely send an email. So I will show you ways to start this process even if you're not tech savvy. In Module 3, how to represent yourself, we will go into detail about how you want your brand to look, all the way down to the smallest details. I have spent years developing a system in a way that I know works not only for me, but for my other clients. You don't have to do all the hard work of years of mistake. I've already done that for you. I've made all the mistakes for you. Module 4, I'm going to show you how to select supplies, where to buy, the best places, and when to shop sales. I'll show you which exact brands to buy to save you time, money, and resources. I'll even show you pictures and even the product number of what I order. Again, saving you countless dollars and endless hours of trial by error. In Module 5, I'm going to show you easy ways to making your customers, who usually become your painting friends, how to keep them coming back. You'll learn how tools and methods that will not only gain you customers, but also help you with referrals. In Module 6, I'm going to talk all about work-life balance. I will walk you through how to set up a schedule to make time for family, time with your husband or wife, daughter, kids, that much needed time alone to create, which we all love our art time too. I will also show you how to still reach your goals while you're able to have a full life. Time doing things you love with the people you love. I'll give you tips on how to schedule days off even during that busy painting season. I remember several years ago, I was working full-time and trying to do as many painting parties as I could. And I just lay on the couch crying. And I remember one time I had so much pain through my left hip. I couldn't even touch it. It was hurting so bad. my body was breaking down and I couldn't figure out how to balance it all. Well, I finally figured it out, and I have strategies that will help you. So you want to start your business the way you want to continue it. So I'll show you how to do all of that. In Module 7, we will get social. I will show you how to use social media to get your message streamlined to all your potential customers. Our Facebook and Instagram is our modern day resume. If somebody wants to see what you're doing, that is the first place they go. I will help you with highlighting your strengths and engage potential clients all the way through social media. Remember, until you are sick of talking about it, they are just now hearing about it. Module 8, the last module, Art Heals. We will go in depth of how art can heal. I have used art for years in this way, but didn't recognize that I was using it to heal until last year. Some people use art as a spiritual practice, a meditation practice, personal growth. I will show you ways to figure out how to find your true calling with art. This can be just a catalyst for another way to serve your clients. I truly feel I was called to show the beginner painters, the busy, stressful person, how art can calm and heal them, even if they are not artists. I'm so lucky because I get to do that every week with painting parties. Now, with you doing painting parties in your area, you can help me spread the word to others. I believe our goal in life is to love others and to show them we care. This is how I show others I care. By having a deeper purpose with your paint parties can not only, have a ton of fun in these paint parties, but you can help those in need. I promise they will come up to you and tell you stories. You don't even have to ask. People will come tell you. And all of these things I'm going to show you that will help you stand out from the other chain painting places, the ones that are down the street from you that it is your competition, and these are going to help you stand out. You will get instant access to all the models. Once you invest, you will have instant access to all the videos, PDFs, and resources for as long as you want. So I have something very special for you today. So here are some really excited bonuses to make this investment even better. So bonus number 1, art kits. I'm going to show you how I make extra money and how you can duplicate this process with art kits. So it's kind of like a party on top of a party. It's really amazing. And you'll have access for this as long as you need. So you can get cheat sheets and PDFs from it that I'll provide. Bonus number 2. The Owl in Love painting. I will give you my step-by-step instructions and rights to my Owl in Love painting so that you can recreate it and immediately have access to sell this for one of your paint parties. I have sold this painting hundreds of times at parties over and over, and it's a painting and it has the instructions ready to go. So you'll get the instructions, you can immediately paint it and start marketing it as a painting event. Bonus number 3, palette art signs. You can see in the picture here. I will show you my step-by-step method for creating palette art signs. So after you have painted your little heart out with all your customers, you can offer another type of art to your customers to help regain those. Now this total value is well worth over $5,000. My years of experience have led me to consistently throwing paint parties for years. I have proven road test methods that work, and I want to share all of that with you at a fraction of the cost. So when you enroll today, you will get all of these as a bonus. You'll get all 8 modules plus all of the bonuses. You will learn strategies and get there faster. You won't have to make all the mistakes I've made. And in addition to all the modules, you will get all 3 bonuses. So what is the investment? You will not have to pay over $5,000, which is still $2,000 shy of the year-long business program I just went through. I paid over $7,000 for that, and I have to tell you, it was the best money I ever spent. You will not even have to pay $3,000. You won't even have to pay $997. I really want to make this an easy choice to help you take the steps that you need to start today. So your investment today is $497 a month. Think, just one party would pay for the entire course. So think about that for a minute. One party would pay for your entire investment. So the reason it's so affordable is because I want as many people to see how art heals. I want to make this an easy choice for you. So you can go to the link below this video to register today, and you'll have access immediately. You can choose to pay one payment or 2 payments broken up. So think, just one party would pay for this entire course. One party. The reason it's so affordable because I want as many people as possible to see how art heals. I feel like it's my mission in life. I want to make this an easy choice for you. Because I feel like this goal in life is to teach as many people the possibility about art heals, I need the others to do the same, showing others the benefit of art. And I find that through fun, accessible, laid-back art parties, the more people will learn this method. Just a few hours of using your hands, being cell phone free, really help people in this stressful time. So for today, you can actually enroll and be a part of this training for only $297. Yes, that's right. You have unlimited access to all the modules and bonuses for just 2 easy payments of $148.50, or you can pay in full for $297 and have access to the entire program. This offer will expire soon, so let's get started today. There are people from all over the world, well, actually all over the country, and I have some in Canada that are involved in this program and would love to have you start too. I cannot wait to hear about your success stories. Just one small party of 10 people would pay for your entire investment. Think of all the time you can save by taking proven methods and steps to do this the right way. You know, my friend I told you about started with kids and at first and then moved to adult parties. Then she went to parties at events and different places. She went from working full-time as an art teacher like myself to now teaching paint parties and photography as her job. She now has the time freedom and eventually wants to have that time freedom when she raises her family. I'm not telling you here to quit your job and start this and you're going to be a millionaire, but I am saying there is great potential, especially if you already have this skill and you feel called, to be a part of this and you want to make some extra money. There's great potential for making extra money doing this. Now, let's see if this program really makes sense for you. What was the reason you want to do paint parties? So look at your paper that you wrote down earlier. Is it because you want to show people how art can help their life? Was it because you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck when you know that you have this talent and could change your financial situation? I remember when I was working full-time teaching art parties on the weekends, all my paint party money was extra. I remember going and doing the bills and thinking, wow, we still have like $700 up to $1,500 extra some months, and some months even more. It was so powerful to know that I could, that money was out there waiting for me, and all I had to do was go pick it up. It felt like I was just sometimes going to the bank and picking up money because it was so cool to know I could, go shopping and do whatever I need, never have to look, when I'm shopping at the grocery store. Those things, when you are in those situations, those things really matter. So if you do the work and you don't feel like this program worked for you, but you did the work, you can email me and show me that you tried the steps. If you are still unsatisfied after doing the work, you can contact me and I'll do a refund. Remember, you need to do the work to get results. Kind of like losing weight. You can't just talk about it. You have to do the lunges, eat the right foods, and all of those things. It's the same thing here. So again, to recap what you're getting, immediate access to all training modules, all 8 training modules, plus the 3 extra bonuses with PDFs and handouts that tell you exactly what to do for a total value of over $5,000. Remember, this is not for everyone. If you are lazy or have poor work ethic, then this is not for you. Serious about making money. If you're not going to do the work to be successful, then this is not for you. Save both of us some time. If you're still here, then we know you are serious about making money throwing art parties. Most people don't take the time to learn new things. Most people think the way they were taught or the way they learned the first time is the only way to do something. And it's showing a lot that you are still here on this training to learn something new and took time out of your precious day. This virtual boot camp is designed for people like you that want to do something they love and share the love of art while making extra cash. I can't guarantee ultimate success, but I can guarantee you that you could easily be teaching a paint party in as little as 4 weeks and making money from the very first painting party. Like I said, one party of just 10 people would pay for your entire investment. There is nothing like this out here. No one is teaching how to throw art parties without having an expensive franchise or taking on huge loans and a huge risk. Now, if all this does is help you throw one paint party, you could literally repeat the process over and over again and reap the benefits. You could use what you learn in this course to continually teach art, not only for paint parties, but anything you decide you want to teach. Jewelry making, craft nights, Pinterest party get-togethers, crazy quilting. I mean, the list goes on forever. We're creative folks, you know? So I'm so excited for this new adventure to help you. And remember, you can register by clicking the link below. And then you can save $200 today for a total of 2 payments of $148.50 or one payment of $297. Okay, so it looks like we're to the end of our time. So I am so excited for those who have already joined, and I can't wait to see what you do. So make sure you send some pictures of your first parties. Now, if you are still not sure, just take a look in your heart. You know, I've made all the mistakes for you so it fast tracks you. And I want to thank you so much for your time. And I'm so excited for others to spread the love of art and how art can really help others. Oh my gosh, I promised a free gift for everyone who stayed all the way to the end. So if you email me at texasartandsoul@gmail.com and put in the message, Paint Party Revolution, free gift, I will email you a PDF with instructions for a step-by-step painting of Starry Night. So it will walk you through how to paint Starry Night, exactly how to do it. This is just a free gift for listening today and learning about how you can help this paint party revolution take flight. So let's spread the love of art and show people how we can help in many ways. So don't forget to be a part of this really great Paint Party Revolution virtual boot camp. Don't leave money on the table. Get started today by signing up on the link below this video and get immediate access. Again, in as little as 4 weeks, you could be throwing your very first of many, many paint parties to come. So thank you so much, and I look so forward to all of your success. Thanks, guys.